Welcome to Toy Hill Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. I've decided today to do another Center of My Mind painting, a painting that is abstract, that is meant to be appreciated just by how it looks, the colors and the textures and whatever happens. It's going to be very experimental. I started one this morning that was more like what I normally do in my main oil painting work, which is impressionistic with a little bit of flair of expressionism, and it just didn't turn out. And I didn't have any other ideas, so I decided, well, I always like doing center of my mind painting, so that's what I'm going to do. Working on a very small scale this time, and don't have any real ideas of how I want to handle this, other than I want to let the paint bleed and then use it thick at the same time. And do some circles. I want to really do a circular effect, and if something comes up, it's going to be one of my suggestions paintings, where I just paint and I start to see shapes that are recognizable, I bring them out. Sort of like when you look at clouds, sometimes you see shapes in clouds. But I'm just going to really just have fun and react to the color, which is what I always do with any kind of painting. But more so in this painting, this type of painting. And I left out one of the colors. Okay, let me get that real quick. Try real hard to be real prepared, and still sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Definitely want to have this particular blue-green here. Always like to use that color. I use all colors. As I mentioned before, if you listen to me, I am what we call a colorist. We're just really into color. And I'll keep on doing the circular stuff. Just keep on changing the color. Oh, I like that. As I've mentioned many times before, if you've listened to my YouTubes, that I'm a real red-green painter. Really into red-green contrast. Although I like all colors very much, and just like to have a really complicated system of colors whenever I paint. Now, it's not going to be something I'm going to really decide on too much until I have all the white gone, so I can really see all the color relationships. I'm not seeing anything happening in terms of any kind of forms, so this is probably going to be a center of my mind painting. And if you've watched my YouTubes before, you've heard this over and over again, but I think it's so important to keep on saying this, because I still run into people that think that when it's abstract, it's just because the artists can't draw, and why do they do that, and all this stuff. And it's when you look at a painting and it's something that you like to see, then you're reacting to that. When you look at an abstract painting, you can only appreciate it because of the way it looks. And you don't have to, but it's not because it looks like something you like to see. And that's why it's what a lot of artists call pure art. It's not better than when there is subject matter, not in my opinion, but you have to really just look at it the same way you hear some music without words that you like. Okay, I've said that so many times, I know, but I think it's so important. When I taught at Radford University, I really like to say that a lot, because when you teach art appreciation, and I taught lots of different classes, but when you teach a lot of art appreciation, boy, do you ever run into people that think that artists that do this kind of artwork are just trying to fool you, trying to confuse you, or can't draw, all this nonsense. So I always like to do that. I had one person, a relative, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to get into a fight, but he really was trying to argue me down that this is just nonsense and there's nothing to it, and why do people do that? And I thought, well, wait a minute. Why? Why do you think you know more about art than me? I've been studying it forever, and I think I probably understand it better than someone that doesn't do anything with it and has not studied it. But anyway, I didn't say that. Guys is a relative. Didn't want to get into a big fight. But it is frustrating because it's been my experience that people that think there's nothing to this kind of art, and the artists just do it because they can't draw, which couldn't be further from the truth. But people that think that they're, no, I forgot what I was going to say. Boy, completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, that what's really, really aggravating is that a lot of people that think that this is just nothing and it's just a crazy thing to do and it's just to confuse the public, they won't even let you explain. Like there have been times when people have done that, started doing that to me, and I'm just going to try to explain it to them. They won't let you. They just talk you down and just keep on saying over and over again. They won't even give you a chance, which is really frustrating. Oh, I'm going to quit complaining about that. There are plenty of people that appreciate abstract art more and more too. So I'm going to shut up about that and just paint. Okay, I have stuck with my circular thing, but as you can see, I am really adding a lot of contrast and size and getting more very, very thin marks and playing off little small shapes. And if you study art, you'll see that's what all art is about. That artists find when they work from nature or they set things up, they work with contrast, they work with variety, they work with placing things in a spatial sequence that just draws you in. Okay, I'm starting to really like this. I always really get into using pink because it just accents so well. So, see, I'm really getting into that, putting that in. Yeah, I think it's coming along really nicely. This is starting to get to that point where, like, do I quit? Do I keep going? Because it is a very spontaneous, quick painting. It's real small scale. I wanted to do that so I could really get this done. As I said, I tried to do one this morning. It was a landscape, and I just bit off way too much. And because I was filming it, it was making me uptight. And I just couldn't get the effect I wanted. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to do all this so much off camera that I think I'll just do something else. Might try that again sometime. I don't know. Wow, it's getting really complicated. See, now that I have all the white gone, I can really, really see what is there and really compare all these little marks and see if I want it more complicated. Do I want to pull it away more from the center? Do I just want to do more? I do want to do a little more. I really like that pink right there. I want to make it a little stronger, that's for sure. And I like the violet that I've been putting into it. Violet is one of the colors I have in this cheap paint, which is what I'm using today, that I can't get to work very well. I bought all different ones, but it just doesn't work that well. But for this type of painting, I do use really inexpensive stuff, and I do not offer it for sale because I don't want my stuff to to fade away and be in bad shape, and it's not right to the buyer either. But you can get great, beautiful, large, small archival prints on just about anything, clothing, kitchenware, even face masks on my website, and I would encourage you to go there. I've had a number of people buy really huge prints of some of these paintings that I don't offer for sale. Now, most of my paintings are for sale, and as I said, most of my paintings are large oil paintings. My main theme is the gorgeous Blue Ridge. Lived here my adult life and can't imagine living anywhere else. I'm not actually in the Blue Ridge, very close to it. The Blue Ridge is only a small section of mountains in North Carolina and Virginia, but people just, all these ranges around here, we're in the Ridge and Valley, all these ranges around here people like to call the Blue Ridge. It's just easy, and they all look like the Blue Ridge. So I can see why they do that. Okay, I'm getting to the end of this. I don't want to lose what I like that. This is hard to explain, just comes from many, many decades of painting, that I'm seeing things that I didn't plan on that have come up, and now what I'm doing is making all kinds of decisions. If you've watched my YouTubes, you've heard me say this one before too, that really good art is a balance between control and accident. In my opinion, there may be some photorealists who carefully copy a photograph that might not agree, but in my opinion, really good art is a balance between control and accident. Well, oh shoot, I didn't like that. I'm sure that made a lot of sense to say, oh, I didn't like that. Well, if you're a painter, you know what I'm talking about. Not that you can't understand if you're not a painter, but painter would see why I just didn't like the way that hit there. Oh, really like the blues I've got in this. I think I'm going to use a much smaller brush now, do a little bit more. It's only been 10 minutes. And see if I can get a little more complexity that I like and that doesn't flatten out and look kind of funny and overdone. I'll never forget it taken class ages ago and how we would all talk about how easy it is to overwork a painting. And when it gets really complicated, you can't really get back what you had. So it's very frustrating. Okay? I have a feeling that's what's going to happen to me soon, and I'm going to probably quit. But it is just such a great experience. I really do live to paint. And of course that means I got to spend a lot of time on the internet marking it. I can't take them with me. So I'm especially glad when I sell originals. It's great to sell prints. Recently, some prints of a very popular Pawleys Island painting, beach houses at Pawleys Island, sold on t-shirts. Oh, that was cool. And the person that bought them is in Pawleys Island. So I thought, oh, that's cool. People in Pawleys Island will go around with the beach houses that they can see on their t-shirt. They can just see the house, go buy it, and then see it on their t-shirt too. Okay. I think I better quit soon. I'm really going to start covering up and losing all the bleeded areas, and that's not going to be good. So I better decide if there's anything else I want to do. Now, of course, what you're seeing is not what I'm seeing, because the colors in the YouTube are never as good. So I will certainly have a link to the final painting so that you can really see what it looks like. Can't ever get this right. I'm not sure how to do it. Someone told me how, but God, I'm just so busy. I don't really want to learn how. I'm just so busy with everything I do. It's hard to keep up with all this computer stuff. Anyway, it looks real good on the YouTube, just not as good as it actually is. Okay. I think if I add much more, I'm going to really lose what I've got, and it's just going to start to look stilted, like I have too much control. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to click on the link to see the final painting, and there are links to my website and my work on other sites.